Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me now? Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me now? Beautiful. Sorry about that. It's been a while since I was streaming last time, and I had to make sure that everything is still set up correctly. Unfortunately, Discord decided to throw us a nice little curveball and decided to start taking down a few things, which was amazing. So Eve decided to stop working for a little bit of time. You know, some more fun on a Monday night. Not a problem, don't worry about it. This is my COVID look. All the fun times and all the fun things of not being able to. Yeah, if the music, it's too loud. Alright, let me turn down that music here. Is that a little better? A little better? Turn that down a little bit more. There we go. Can you guys hear me properly now? Can you guys hear me properly now? Hey, Amelia. Hey, Amelia. Beauty. All right, so wanted to show you guys a couple of cool little features that we've been working on. But I need to go in and change my feedback because for some reason I hear myself as an echo, which is going to drive me insane. So give me 1 second here. Super Soldier, yeah, I am recording this, so can you guys still hear me? This echo is gonna drive me insane. Check 1 2. Check. Check 1 2. Check. Check. Can you guys hear me? Check. 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 Is that echo better? I'm trying to figure out where the hell this stupid echo is coming from. This is what happens when Discord decides to go and make updates when I'm about to stream and I don't have time to test all my shit. Okay, what about now? No, that's still the wrong one. Check. Is there still an echo? Yes, there is. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? All right, beautiful. Is there an echo now, or is there no echo? All right, beauty. Okay, we're gonna cancel the music because I don't understand where it's picking it up from to get this ball rolling. So I'm glad that you guys can finally hear me now. Took us a little bit of time, but we're good to go now. Yeah, unfortunately, literally, I've been trying to push the last couple of changes over, and Discord decided to start having some issues and start taking down all the APIs for all of their bots. So Eve decided to just, take a little nap. But we're here now, and we're ready to go. So, without further ado, I know you guys have been requesting this for quite a little bit of time, and we finally managed to find a way into it. But we are able to now track your tower experience on a user level, your raid experience on a user level. So being able to see exactly what each individual player is able to accumulate as far as experience on a specific tower. So none of these commands are going to work for you just yet. They're going to be enabled as soon as the stream is over, but you're going to be able to go and essentially pull up all your tower stats. And again, these are all for the Patreon Club Sing members, and they're going to be enabled as soon as the stream is over. But you're going to be able to go in, type in tower stats, put in your club name, and put in what tower you want to track. And with the tower that you want to track, you have the ability to go in and say that I want to track the Stitch Tower, for example, and I want to track it as of a specific date. So if I'm putting in as of today, for example, it's going to pull up every single one of my club members, and it's going to pull up with what XP they acquired in the Stitch Tower as of that date. So in this particular scenario, I went in and I said as of February 1st of this year. Now what that basically means is that it's going to pull up the Stitch Tower experience as of that particular date. And now why this date is very, very important for you is that these metrics, this experience, is going to be tracked as of your club's reset. So every single night when your club gets synced with Eve, and all the donations and dungeon kills and PvP arena and all those things automatically get synced, so will the Stitch XP. So this basically means that you will now have the ability to go in and take a look at the player charts and take a look at a specific player, for example, and say that I want to go in and take a look at their Stitch progression, and I want to take a look at it over the last couple of days. Now I only have data for a couple of days, and unfortunately this starts syncing at the end of the Stitch Tower, which basically means that for Stitch my progression is flat. There's absolutely no change, simply because as of January 31st there was no more Stitch Tower. Like, the tower was closed, and therefore I couldn't accumulate anymore. But if I take a look at my Triton Tower, for example, I would be able to see that when the tower opened up, and I actually think I have enough for 4 days at this point in time. Yep, I got enough for 4 days to be able to go in to say that at this particular point, so on January 30th, the tower wasn't open, but on the 31st is when it opened. And with my club's reset was after the tower opened, which is the reason why this never dips down to 0 for me, is because I jumped in right away as the tower opened. I was able to get my experience and be able to get that accumulated. Hey, Dardar. So you'd be able to see a user's progression over time. If they're doing just a little bit in one day and nothing else after that, you're going to see what you're seeing here is that they're starting on the 31st when the tower opened with 16,000 experience. They went up to about 31,000, and they just remained there because they didn't do anything else between February 1st and today, is because the tower closed already. So it's very important to understand that with the tower stats, when the date that you're pulling in, it is going to be the date of your club's reset. It's not going to be the date of the tower, and unfortunately there is a little bit overlap between when the tower opens, when the tower closes, and when your club reset is. We know that the towers open and close at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific time, I believe it's 2 p.m. Pacific time. And unless your club reset time is 2 p.m. Pacific time, you're not going to have literally an hour by hour representation of it. There is going to be overlap, there is going to be spillage of that experience. That being said, it does allow you to see users that are not contributing to the tower at all. And the way you see that is literally by the zeros there. By seeing the players that the tower has opened up, they went a full day, 2 days, the duration of the tower, and their experience remained at zero. And you can do this with any tower. You can do this with Stitch, with Trident, with Rapunzel. Any single one of those towers, you'd be able to do it with. So if I'm going for the Trident tower, for example, as of today, it's going to pull up all my entire club's Trident XP. If I want to go in and take a look at just towers in general, you were also going to have the ability to go in to just go tower all, at which point it's going to pull your Stitch XP, your Rapunzel XP, and your Trident XP. There is, however, one slight issue that I noticed literally today, and this is something that I'm going to take a look into. With the Trident Tower, for example, I know that these numbers are not accurate because I know with my club in particular, there's 2 or 3 people that haven't had the opportunity to hit the tower yet and haven't had the opportunity to get any experience simply because of their schedules and the fact that they weren't online. But it still tracks their experience, and I need to understand exactly why that's the case. But the fact that Eve is syncing as of, I want to say 3 days ago now, it means that it would be able to go in and investigate. And with your help with taking screenshots and saying, okay, well, you know what, this user says that they have 10,000, 20,000 experience, but in game they actually have 0 experience. Like they haven't done anything. It's going to give us the opportunity to go in and see exactly why that's the case. It's still obviously very new because you guys are just hearing about it, but it will give us that ability. Very similar to the Trident, to the tower experiences, we're also going to have the raid experience. And unfortunately, what I can't show you, the command for Eve is currently broken simply because of Discord's fantastic ability to break things. But this is going to be your raid experience. And the raid experience is going to be very similar to the tower experience, where you're going to go in and you're going to specify the date of where you want to pull it. Unlike the club experiences, the club stats where you can go in and take a look at your particular club and say that, okay, I want to take a look at my club and I want to take a look at it for the last 10 days, for example. The club stats are going to work for a range of days. I didn't enable the range of days for raid experience and tower experience because it didn't make sense to me. Tower experience and raid experience is not something that gets reset on a daily basis. It gets reset on a seasonal basis. Towers get reset every, let's say, week, as opposed to raids get reset every 28 days or every 29 days. So it didn't make sense to have that date range as opposed to the actual date of when you want to look at it. And you can take a look at it to say, give me the raid experience as of today, give me the raid experiences of yesterday, give me the raid experiences of 2 days ago, which also means that all the charts are going to work in the same fashion, where you can go in and look at a player's progression for the raid. So if I'm looking at my particular profile, right, I'd be able to see what the raid progression was. And the reason why this hit 0 is because as of today, the season reset, and I hadn't had an opportunity to hit the raid prior to one of my clubmates literally killing the rest of the raid. So Dardar, this is going to be tied in with the club sync and the club metrics, and the reason for that is because the club does need to be synced on a daily basis to be able to pull this information. I'm going to take a look to see if I can pull some of this info into the player command, for example, which is free for everybody, just to give an understanding when you're scouting players and clubs are looking at different players to join their respective club to see how they're doing in a particular tower or a particular rate. I think it'd be cool to know that if I'm looking at a player and they say that they're very active in towers and they're doing everything they're doing, but their tower XP is zero or their tower XP is a couple hundred, that tells me that like you might be active, but like what, you're active for like 2 3 hits and then you're going away. Like what's the deal with that? So might add it into the player function, but it's definitely going to be available as soon as the stream is over for all existing Patreon members. Yeah, I'm thinking last tower XP would be good. I just gotta confirm based on what we saw earlier, Emilia, with a couple of players not reporting zeros. That would be an issue because if their tower XP does not get reset, it causes an issue for everybody looking at players, at scouting players. So we'll have to take a look into that. But in a nutshell, this is the big thing, is being able to track your raid experience over time. So if I'm going and I'm taking a look at our favorite player, Emilia. What's his name in the game? Oh, of course. Looking at our favorite player, he got an insane, absolutely insane amount of XP. And again, even this I gotta take a look into, because if I'm gonna go in and cross-reference it with the game, for example, I'm gonna go and cross-reference it with the game. Take a look at it right now. I don't believe that that number is accurate. I mean, he had the damage there, but as far as, yeah, experience, it doesn't seem like it reset, which is an issue. It looks like it just, yeah, I am playing King's Legion. It's a grind and a half to play that game. It doesn't look like it's actually resetting, because he's supposed to only have 14,000 worth of experience, but looking at the data, it didn't move as such. So it actually looks like it just accumulated it, which is very interesting. So I gotta take a look to see into that, because unless it's not tracking it on a seasonal basis, but that doesn't make sense. Like, why would Glue give me that data and not reset it? So as you can see, there's still a couple of kinks that we gotta get ironed out. And the more that we're looking at players, the more that we're essentially analyzing all of these features, the better it's gonna get. Simply because like this is brand new. I don't know how Glue is tracking all these things. I don't know when the hell they're resetting it, when they're not resetting it. They're definitely not resetting it at the PvP reset time, simply because that happened a couple days ago, and clearly that didn't occur. But for my user, for example, it did reset, which is super super weird. So we'll take a look into that, and we'll take a look at why the raid experience is like that, why the tower experience is like that. And I do invite you all to use them. Please don't take them as the Bible, as the word, so to speak. Challenge them, take screenshots, compare them with what you guys have, compare them with what you guys are seeing in your own clubs, and see if there's any outliers, see if there's any particular users that are not being reported correctly, and we can take a look at it. We can take a look to see why it's in there. CS? What do you mean by CS, Tamp? Yeah, don't remind me about Glue's customer service. What was it? A few days ago when their PvP stopped tracking gold. I spent, I think, 4 hours trying to talk to customer service about like the gold not being there, and I'm like, why'd you guys take it out? Like, this was a great thing. Like, you should add the gold rewards for every win that you get in PvP. And they're like, oh yeah, no, it wasn't supposed to be there. It's we're never we're you're only going to be getting your chest on a daily basis. Like, that gold is not, it's not supposed to be there. There's no gold that you should be awarded on a per win basis. And then literally an hour later, or hour and a half later, they announce it to everybody saying, yeah, there's a bug, we're going to fix it. So yeah, forget the glue customer service. To be able to go in and ping them about any of this stuff, it's useless. So yeah, there's going to be new stats, tower stats, raid stats. The command for the raid stats is literally going to be EC raid stat, and I'll make an announcement to everybody afterwards, and I'll enable all of these commands for all of the clubs that are currently on Patreon, so that you're able to use them. I'll add them over to the EC help menu as well, so that you guys are able to see them and see how they're supposed to be structured. Please use them, break them, give us feedback, give us suggestions on what you believe should be happening, should not be happening, and we'll make it better. But I'll open it to you guys to see if anybody does have any questions, to see if you guys want to take a look at anything else in particular, or nothing at all, essentially. Yeah, yeah. You guys are always welcome to break them. There's a few people out there that definitely have their hammers ready to go at it. And trust me when I say this, I do appreciate you guys breaking them. Without you guys breaking them, it wouldn't be able to be better. So, can't make something better unless it's broken. So, any other questions, or you guys want to take a look at anything else? I'm sure they like to find plenty of wrong things. Heroic. All right. So for heroic, to look at the heroic raids, Eve does have the raid eligibility stat. And with the raid eligibility stat, you're able to go and type your club's nickname, and type in the tier of the raids that you want to have it. And what this is going to do, this is going to basically tell you exactly how many players out of your club are eligible, which essentially means they have 5 or more units available to tackle raid level 6, which is heroic. This CSV here, and I'll open it up for you in 1 second, is the part that's really going to be important for you, because this particular yeah, conquest stats, nope. This particular CSV, which is this one here, is going to show you every single one of your players. It's going to show you how many units they have available, and more importantly, for every single unit, as you can see, it's going to show you exactly what tier level they're at, what star level they're at, to give you an idea as to, are they going to be able to do damage, or are they not going to be able to do damage. So if I'm taking a look at a particular player, and you can do this with the units as well, at a particular player, I can see that my player, in particular my account, has 25 units available. But these 25 units available, if I'm going in and taking a look at it, I got my Baymax at 7-7, but Big Bad Wolf at 7-6, yeah, he's good. Great for conquest, you can take down a couple of smaller minions, so to speak, with it, but not so great when it comes to the raids. Demona, again, sure, but not gonna do a hell of a lot of damage in the raids. Facilier, same thing. But I got my Elsa, I got Genie, and I got a Kingdom team in there somewhere, so you can go in and take a look at every single one of these units. Alternatively, what you can do is you can take a look to see who's got a specific lineup. So if I'm looking to see who's got Baymaxes, I can remove all the blanks, and I can see that I got 15 players that have Baymax. Okay, that's great. So what about Baymax and Bubbles? So I want to see who's got Baymax Bubbles team. Okay, well, that dropped down to 10 players. Now, if I want to go and take a look at Baymax, Bubbles, and Sven, for example, see some damage in there. I only got 6 players available, right? So you can take a look at this. You can take a look at who's got a Stitch. So apparently only a single player has a Stitch that's going to be eligible for heroic raids. So Mew, for to your point, you can run the raid eligibility report and you can start taking a look at this data. You can start taking a look at what club members have what units, what teams. Can they actually prove themselves worthy in a heroic raid or not worthy? So that's the raid eligibility. Dardar, yes, the event calendar is insanely outdated, and I've always been wanting to go in and take a look and track all of the different events when they come in, when they don't come in. We already have the tower eligibility command, which essentially, once you do sync your account with Eve, you're able to go in and basically say like, what is my tower eligibility for Rapunzel? How far in the tower can I climb? And I believe that's what the command is. It would help if I know my own commands. Yeah, it is the... okay, so Stitch works. But it's going to be able to show you what level you can climb in Stitch. What level can I climb in the Rapunzel tower? And I can't climb at all because that's broken. So, gotta take a look into that because that's not correct. How far can you climb in Triton? So it tells you how far you can climb in a specific event tower, so to speak. And one thing that I always wanted to do is go in and map every single event to be able to not only get the eligibility of it, and once I'm able to track every single event of when the event comes, when the event starts and ends, to tell you the last time the event came around, and based on all the previous occurrences that we've seen that event come out, when is the next time it's likely to come out. Legendary events are fairly consistent as far as when they're able to come out. Even some of the other smaller events, they do have patterns, give or take about a week or so. So I don't think it's going to be crazy to go in and map and estimate when the next event is going to come out, which means that we can dynamically create that entire event calendar as opposed to going and taking a look at this particular calendar. Like, this calendar hasn't been updated since, oh man, like November of last year. Like, it's been a long time. So it's something that is definitely needs to get changed. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to talk about? I wish I had more things to show you, but unfortunately it does take a little bit of time to code everything, and as you can see, make everything work smoothly, which it doesn't always work. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I am going to let you guys go. You guys know how you can find this. You know how you can open up bugs, issues, tickets, suggestions. Dardar, thanks for that last suggestion. Um, definitely gonna be doing it. Um, I always wanted to add in those features of who's not unlocked or how far away they are to be unlocked. One of the things that we actually noticed when we were looking at other players and scanning them for a club is it doesn't show you who's ready to be unlocked. And I've actually met a few people that constantly collect the shards but don't unlock their accounts simply because they don't want to ramp up their summoner score. And speaking of summer score, the other thing that I am going to be working on, I'm going to be working on it with a couple of different people from that utilize Eve and have utilized Eve for a little bit of time, is creating this concept of a fluff score of you can have your summoner score and you can have your summoner score of 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, but how much of that is fluff? How much of that is essentially characters that you've maxed out, but they're not going to do any damage because they're 7 stars at gear tier 2. You know what I mean? So creating that summoner score, and hey Grumpy, speaking about the fluff score, creating that fluff score to be able to get to give you the ability to say even though this player is 250,000, their fluff score is completely off the charts, which basically means that all the characters that they have, all the characters that they've accumulated that bring up that summoner score are irrelevant, because they won't be able to do any damage simply because they have a beast at 7 stars with gear tier 2. Like, that beast is going to die in an instant. It's not going to do any damage. Gear is much more important than stars. And there's a very thin line about having, your gear tier 8 at 2 stars. Like, not going to do a hell of a lot. Mew, yeah. So the best way to scan players is using the ePlayer command. And to show you that, I can run it here real quick. So let me grab my ID. So you can go in and type in ePlayer and go D25C3BDC. And what that's basically going to do is it's going to pull that player command. It's going to tell you what club they're part of, their level, their role within the club, what their summoner score is, and their unit power, and give you a rough breakdown of their characters. How many characters they have maxed out, 6 stars, 5 stars, how many T8s, T7s, T6s, and it's also going to show you what those characters are. And you can go in and start scrolling through this particular menu to take a look at their inventory, to take a look at what characters they have, who do they have unlocked, who they not have unlocked, right? And this is where that fluff score is going to be enabled to basically show you that, okay, he is, just shy of 250k, but what's his fluff score? Is his fluff score high or is it low? Does it basically mean that this 246,000 summoner score includes a lot of characters that are not going to be usable in Conquest? They're not going to be usable in raids because they're going to die instantly. So when you're scanning players, when you're recruiting players, your ePlayer command is going to be the best tool you can have. However, if the player is part of your club, I definitely recommend that instead of using the player command, that you take a look at their scan command. And the scan command will allow you to do escan and tag a particular person. So if you tag somebody that's in that channel, it's going to go in and it's going to pull up their profile if they're already synced with Eve. So this is going to show you the same menu as you see up there. But what this gives you the ability to do, and we've actually done this quite a bit in Conquest, is when planning specific towers, whether it's an Oceanic Affinity or a Princess Affinity or Sub Affinity, I should say, it gives you the ability to say, give me all of the Oceanic characters that this particular player has, because I want to see how good they are to be able to create an Oceanic defense for Conquest. So I can take a look at just their Oceanic team, and you can only do this for players that are already synced with Eve. So if somebody does join your Discord and they have it, you can go in and do that. So these are the two big commands that I would recommend you having. And yeah, Grumps, that's the equation that we were talking about earlier. And like I said, I do need to think about it, because that only takes into account T7s and up. And we have, even in our alliance, for example, we have clubs that it's very rare for T7s to be available. So they have T5s and T6s, and that's what they battle in Conquest. Like those are their opponents. So if I just have a fluff score based on T7 and above, it's not going to be too accurate. And I honestly think that the more I think about it, I think the more it's going to be done that way, is having a beginning game fluff score, a mid game fluff score, and an end game fluff score. And I got to figure out exactly how that's broken down, because beginning of the game, you're going to have T4s, you're going to have T5s. And I can tell you, my alt at the beginning of the game, his fluff score was insanely low. Like, he didn't have anything that he didn't need to have. He was getting up there to like top 20, top 10 even in the Sorcerer's Tournament. But as mid-game came along and more people bought more things and their level went up and they were able to upgrade their characters, that fluff score started increasing, simply because I needed to get more characters to be eligible for more things. So, but we'll definitely take a look into that fluff score and we'll get it. And I think that's going to be the next big phase of next big feature of Eve, to accurately see it and get that fluff score in the player commands, in the scan commands, in the conquest commands too. When you're analyzing your opponents, I think will be incredibly beneficial for everybody, as you guys have already mentioned. So All right. Any other questions you guys have? Going once. Going twice. 3 times and sold. All right, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna enable all these commands for everybody that has Patreon, and thank you again for subscribing to Patreon. If you're not aware of it, ping myself or any one of or Drax as well, and hit us up with any questions you guys may or may not have. All right, cheers everybody. Have a good night. Love you all.